defense may call its next witness, please.
Quick question before I do. Who's supposed to be arriving at 3:30? Just so I know.
I'm not sure.
Babietz and Darrell will be here at 3:30. Mr. Luzcano is here now, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I knew who was here now. Just trying to get clarity.
Are you going to call Mr. Luzcano?
It would appear so. He's the one that's here.
All right, then he may. The defense is calling Abel Luzcano, correct?
The defense is calling Abel Luzcano.
All right, very well. We'll have him brought in. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. And my clerk, Teresa, who will be across from you or is across from you, will swear you in. Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Abel Luzcano, ABELLAZCANO.
Thank you. Your witness, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Luzcano. What do you do for a living currently?
I'm a hairdresser.
No judgment whatsoever on this question. Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes, I have.
And how many times?
7.
Do you recall the night of November 21st, 2021 pretty well? I know it's been a minute, but...
Best as I can, yeah.
What were you doing that evening, if you recall?
The Christmas parade?
Were you marching in the parade? Or?
No, I was watching it.
Who were you there with? Family, friends?
My wife and my daughter.
Do you recall where you were positioned to watch the parade?
I was standing in front of the Corey Insurance on Main Street.
Okay. Is that part of Main Street close to like a side street? If you recall?
Not too far from Abel.
Do you recall the side streets being barricaded during the parade?
I don't remember.
Do you recall what time you arrived at the parade that evening?
Yeah, it just started, so whatever time that was at.
Okay. You recall something other than the parade catching your attention that day?
People getting hurt, yeah.
And what did you see that day, if you recall?
I saw a red SUV plow over a bunch of people.
And did you see the driver of this SUV you're referring to?
Yeah, you're standing right there.
And how many people did you see in the vehicle?
Just one, the driver.
So, do you recall flagging down a law enforcement vehicle that evening?
Yeah, I do.
And do you recall what you told the officer that evening?
Not very well.
I'm gonna attempt to see if anything brings back some recollection. First, do you recall the name of the officer you flagged down that evening?
Officer Moss.
Do you recall telling Officer Moss that you observed 3 or 4 people in the SUV as it passed you?
I don't remember that.
So, to your recollection, the SUV that you saw, did it have tinted windows?
I don't remember.
And do you remember what the description was that evening that you gave to law enforcement?
I told him it was a red SUV.
The description of the driver, do you remember that?
I know he was a black male.
Is that all you recall about your description?
That's all I remember.
After seeing this vehicle, what did you do?
We left. I got my family out of there.
And where did you go?
We headed back to the car.
Do you recall where your vehicle was parked?
I believe it's the Lindholm or what building. It's on Maple Street.
And did you see the vehicle stop on Maple Street?
Which vehicle?
The SUV that you claim you saw.
Oh, no, I didn't see it stop, no. It kept going through the parade.
And speaking with, is it Detective Moss? Well, speaking with law enforcement that evening, do you recall advising law enforcement that you observed 3 black subjects running from the vehicle?
No, I don't remember that.
If it pleases the court, I would like to show the witness this. I'm referring to page 4 exactly.
Is it a statement this witness personally wrote?
I believe it's what, I don't think he wrote it himself.
So it's a summary written by another person.
By, I don't know if it's Officer Moss or Detective Moss. I'm not sure what his rank is.
Continue with your questions. I'm going to deny the request that you show the exhibit or the paperwork to the witness.
Do you recall making the statements to Detective Moss that you observed one where it says 1 was described as running southbound on Maple towards College Avenue? Do you recall that?
No, I don't.
Do you recall stating that the other 2 were described as running in a westerly direction from the rear of 338 Maple Street?
No.
Do you recall stating that one black subject was described as tall, wearing a blue top and blue and black pants, while the other subjects were described as two short black males wearing sweatpants?
Barely, a little bit of that.
So, which of these subjects do you minimally recall wearing those items that evening?
No. You asked me if I remember people running, and I said no. I remember describing those people to him. I remember.
So where did you observe those?
Standing by the vehicle, where I found the vehicle, where I spotted it.
Just so we have clarity, describe the subjects you saw that evening standing by the vehicle.
I don't remember that good. I mean, you were describing them, so it brought back a little bit, but I can't tell you. That was too long ago.
And how did you come upon the vehicle at the address of 338 Maple Street that evening?
I was walking my family back to the car. Trying to get them to safety. So I was keeping an eye out and I spotted it.
Do you recall stating that you saw the SUV reverse into a driveway?
No.
Do you recall why that would be reported?
No. When I found it, it was parked already.
Do you recall when you initially had the interaction with Detective Moss? Do you recall leading him to where the vehicle was ultimately found?
Yeah.
Do you recall yelling at subjects standing outside of a building where, or near where the vehicle was that evening?
I remember asking them. I don't remember yelling at them.
Do you recall why? Do you recall why the report says that you advised Detective Moss that there are 3 black subjects, specifically black subjects, running from the vehicle?
No, I don't remember.
you yourself injured in this incident that evening?
No.
Do you recall stating that? Well, let me back up for a minute. Did you speak with another detective that evening, if you recall?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall if that was Detective Coates?
I don't remember his name.
So it'd be fair to say that you spoke with two different law enforcement officers that evening.
Yeah.
Do you recall in your interview with Detective Coates, in reference to the vehicle that you saw that evening, do you recall telling Detective Coates that it appeared there were 3 or 4 people in the Ford Escape as it passed you?
No, I don't remember that.
Do you recall in your interview with Detective Coates that evening stating that you could not provide any description of the occupants other than that they appeared to be African American?
Yeah, I remember saying that.
So it'd be fair to say that you observed African Americans in this vehicle that you saw, correct?
The reason why I came up with 3 or 4 people was because when I was walking by and I saw the car, there was 2 or 3 black males standing by the vehicle, and there was at least 3 or 4 more on the porch. So I figured they were by the vehicle. It must have been the ones trying to hide the vehicle because they were standing in front of it or real close to it.
In your opinion, did it look like they were nervous or attempting to hide?
Well, everybody was running past them and walking really fast, and they were just standing around there. They were the only ones not doing much. So yeah, they stood out.
Now, this is the question actually was in reference to when you spoke with Detective Coates that evening, in reference to seeing the vehicle in the parade as it passed you. Do you recall at that point, while at the parade that evening, do you recall stating to Detective Coates that it appeared that there were 3 or 4 people in the Ford Escape as it passed you during the parade that evening?
No, I don't remember that.
Any reason why the Detective Coates would report that that's what you stated to him?
Like I said before, I saw 2 or 3 people by the vehicle, so I assumed they were with the vehicle. So they must have been in the vehicle during the parade. I saw the driver going by because he hit somebody right in front of us.
Do you recall in your interview with Detective Coates that evening stating that the 3 individuals, and I'm referring to who you saw next to the vehicle, so it's clarification, the three individuals who were standing in a line, shoulder to shoulder, as African American males?
Yeah.
So it's fair to say that's what you observed that evening?
I saw at least two of them. And it looked like they were standing in front of it.
And during that interview with Detective Coates that evening, do you recall stating to Detective Coates that you may be able to recognize the older male? So I'm assuming one of the individuals that you saw standing shoulder to shoulder was a older male?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Any reason why multiple, well, I'm not going to say multiple, two. Any reason why the two detectives that you spoke with that night both reported that you stated you saw three black subjects running from the vehicle?
No.
And during the parade incident, were you or anyone you were with injured that evening?
No.
No further questions at this time.
Thank you. Any cross?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Luzcano.
Good afternoon.
Sir, you said you watched the parade near Curry Insurance, is that correct?
Yeah, right in front.
Okay. Do you remember, you said you saw the SUV strike some people in the parade?
Yeah.
Yes? Do you remember what group of people in the parade? Can you remember anything about the name or the banner or the costumes or anything like that?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. Ms. Cross.
No, I don't.
Speculative. Objection.
Overruled. The witness may answer. I believe he said no. His answer may
Yeah,
stand.
no, I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember seeing the SUV strike more than one person?
Yeah.
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled.
About how many people did you see the SUV strike, sir?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled.
It was crowds. I mean, when it was coming through, because I was standing over my daughter and my wife, they were sitting on the curb. I saw it coming through, and at first it looked like it was just pushing people out of the way, and then it just kept swerving back, and it was just plowing everybody out of the way until it got to in front of us. Then it actually hit somebody and just did like a cartwheel in the air.
You remember that?
Yeah, it was right in front of us.
Okay.
And while the witness was giving the answer, not the last answer, but the one prior to that, he had his right hand in the air, directioning his hand from right to left, describing the vehicle coming from right to left. And then when he said he saw someone go into the air, he was like twirling his fingers as if to say it kind of tumbled in the air. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So, Mr. Luzcano, I want to talk about the moment when you located this vehicle on Maple, okay? I'm going to ask, Madam Clerk, could you please turn on the AV system? We're going to put up State's Exhibit 65.
Go ahead.
Objection to the relevancy of Exhibit 65.
Noted, overruled. It's been received. The state may proceed.
All right, this total clip is 36 seconds, but before we begin to play it, sir, do you recognize the area on the screen that's
Yeah.
shown in this picture?
Yeah, I believe that's Central Middle School,
Where?
right at where the stairs is.
Okay, the red brick on the left side of the picture?
Yeah.
Objection
Okay.
speculative.
Overruled. His answer may stand, he said, I believe.
And would you agree with me, the house where the SUV was found was up in this area here where I just put the green dot on the screen?
Yeah.
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
That looks right, correct, sir?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
All right, we're going to clear the screen, please, and we're going to play this entire clip for 36 seconds. Please watch and see if you see yourself or any of your family members in this clip.
Objection to the relevancy of this video to this particular witness.
Overruled. You may play the clip.
Overruled on what grounds, Your Honor? Is that attack an agreement?
Sir, did you see yourself or your family in that clip?
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
No, I did not.
Okay. Now, you said you did see, by the time you walked past the car, you saw 2 or 3 black males standing near the car, right?
Objection mischaracterization of this. He said 3. Specifically said the number.
Overruled.
And you also said you saw 2 or 3 what you thought to be black males on the porch of the residence there, correct?
Objection stated it was black males. Asked and answered.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, there was 2 or 3 standing by the vehicle,
Okay.
and then on the porch there was maybe 3 or 4 or more people. I don't know if they were. I'm sure they were white, but
Okay.
I was trying to not make it obvious at the time. I believed that they were with the vehicle, so I didn't want them to see that I saw them. So I just did what I
Understood.
thought was right at the time.
Sure. Do you happen to know the people that live at this house?
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
No, I did not.
Would it be reasonable, do you think, Mr. Luzcano, that people living in the house heard the crash and came outside and that's who you saw standing there by the vehicle?
Objection. There was never any crash mentioned.
I'll sustain. It calls for speculation.
Mr. Luzcano, is it possible that the people you saw standing near the vehicle were in fact just neighbors that saw the vehicle the same way you did?
Yeah.
You described that at the time you went by on Maple Street, there was a lot of people running around in the area. Is that correct?
Objection mischaracterization of testimony.
Overruled.
Yes, it was.
And these are people hurrying away from the parade with their families, trying to get to safety just like you were, correct?
Objection speculative.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Yes.
You didn't see anything like that in State's Exhibit 65, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. You said on direct examination that you saw the driver of the SUV in the parade. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you see that driver present in this courtroom here today, please?
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
Yes, he's sitting right over there.
Are you sure about that, sir?
Yes.
Objection speculative.
Overruled.
You
And
said
it
that...
mischaracterizes the testimony because that was not testified to before on direct.
Your objections are overruled. I believe the witness already answered. Go ahead.
Did you happen to notice in Exhibit 65 the red SUV in that video clip that you watched?
No.
You didn't see it
Couldn't
at all,
see
did
it,
you?
no.
Okay, just wondered. Mr. Luzcano, have you and I ever spoken about this case, sir?
No.
What about Attorney Basie here to my right? You and her ever talk about this case or your testimony?
Objection hearsay.
Overruled.
No.
Mr. Witchow, on the end, did you ever talk to him about
Objection.
your testimony, sir?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
No.
All right, thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Yep.
Go ahead.
You stated that you saw the driver, correct? Of the
Yeah.
SUV that you saw that day, correct?
Yes.
How did the driver look that day you saw him?
He had a scruffy beard, and he was a black male.
Did you see what the driver was wearing?
No, I don't remember that.
Did you see if the driver had any hair?
I don't remember that either.
Did you see if the driver had anything noticeable about their appearance? Tattoos, scars, marks, anything like that?
No. I saw the side, the profile, the side. You were flying fast down that street. I wasn't paying attention to the color of clothes you were wearing. I knew it was a black male and had a scruffy beard. It's the first thing I told my wife, is he was a black guy driving.
And do you recall how long you were able to get a side view, as you called it, of the alleged driver?
Well, it had to be a couple seconds.
And in a couple seconds' time, you were able to make out the driver's profile and race just by a couple seconds.
Yeah. It's not hard. You can tell if you were white or if you were black and if you had a beard or not. That's it. I don't know what color shirt you had on. If you had hair, a hat on backwards.
So that leads back to the question of, is that the only person you saw in the vehicle?
From what I remember, yes. I saw the driver. Like I said before, the reason why I thought there was 3 or 4 because I saw 3 or 4 people around the vehicle when I spotted it.
So would it be
That's
fair,
the only reason.
would it be fair to say that when you spoke with 2 different detectives that evening, the evening of the parade, both of those officers reported that you stated there were 3 or 4 people in the SUV as it passed you? Is that fair to say?
Oh, wait, can you repeat that again?
Just for clarification, you already stated previously in testimony that you spoke with 2 different detectives that evening, correct?
Yes, I did.
And both detectives that you spoke with that evening, the evening of November 21st, 2021, you stated to both of those law enforcement officers, detectives, that you observed 3 or 4 people in the SUV.
Like I said before, the reason why I said there must have been 3 or 4 was because they were standing by a vehicle. So I assumed that they were with the vehicle. I don't remember seeing them in the vehicle when you were hitting the people.
You stated this to both detectives, 2 different detectives, the evening of November 21st, 2021. And this was in relation to what you saw from the vehicle at the parade, not where the vehicle was later found. Any reason why you stated to both detectives in relation to what you saw at the parade why both detectives in their reports stated that you told them that you observed 3 or 4 people in the SUV at the time of the parade.
So what's your question?
The question is, why did you report that to 2 different detectives on the same evening?
Like I told you before, when I walked past the vehicle, I spotted more than one individual standing in front of the vehicle. So I assumed they were with the vehicle. That's why I said they were inside.
I'm sorry.
That's why I said they were in the vehicle. I said there had to be at least 3 of them in the vehicle. That's the only reason I said that.
So why would you report that you saw this during the parade?
I don't know.
And during both interviews with detectives that evening, the evening of November 21st, 2021, you also stated to both detectives that you observed 3 or 4 black or African American is the word used. 3 or 4 African Americans running from the vehicle. Any reason why both detectives reported that you said that?
I don't remember.
No further questions.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.